Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, and I know I've been off the radar for about a week. I'm sorry, guys. I know I promised you daily videos. I've been grinding a lot with my head down, working on a lot of cool things for you guys. I'm actually here in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I don't know if you've ever been. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm going to let you know what I'm doing here. But first up, we're going to go straight to the point about what today video is about. I remember I told you 1 week ago, as soon as Bitcoin hits 45,000, I'm toasting. I'm toasting with you in a glass of champagne here on this channel because that will be an incredible milestone, and we have not hit that mark yet. So the question on everybody's mind, what is next? Are we going to see a catastrophic dip from here, or are we going to continue on into all-time highs and beyond? And as we jump right into this episode, the Grayscale CEO is setting the tone by saying that a Bitcoin spot ETF approval would unlock $30 trillion in advised wealth into Bitcoin.
It was as low as 17,000 this year.
Sure. Well, Joe, I'm not one to make price predictions, but I do think there is a lot of optimism again in the market. I think a lot of investors are adding Bitcoin to their portfolios. And when we look ahead to the hopeful approval for spot Bitcoin ETFs, it really is going to unlock the opportunity to a part of the investment community that, for better or worse, but I would say for worse, has unfortunately been locked out of the opportunity to participate in having Bitcoin exposure in their portfolios. So we're really talking about the advised market here in the US, which is today about $30 trillion worth of advised wealth that we hope the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs, the uplisting of GBTC, will allow for that opportunity and for those investors to partake in it as well.
That is massive. So there's a lot of buzz right now. Bitwise just released a spot Bitcoin ETF commercial. It's all happening. The tension is palpable. Just like I said in the last video, people are getting ready, but they want to know what's next and how they should play this very important part of the cycle. You must be strategic and you must stick to your plan. And then next up, we have the CEO of Galaxy Digital saying that a Bitcoin spot ETF will be approved by January 10th. And the reality is, this Bitcoin spot ETF could be approved at any minute, at any time, any day, and we don't know when. So the biggest question I'm getting from the community and from you guys is, what's Bitcoin's next move? Should I wait until it corrects or crashes? Should I buy now? Should I wait until we get further market structure confirmation? It's a loaded question, but the answer is simpler than a lot of you may think. And in order to give you this answer, we're first going to dig into some charts from Bitcoin and then go into some strategic plays that Michael Saylor talks about that I believe is really going to help you in playing this phase 2 of the bull. That's right, we've entered phase 2 of the bull run. So we are very close to what we call a weekly golden cross on Bitcoin. It's a very bullish signal that we are well into the bull run. And right now, as we speak, Bitcoin has broken out of its bull flag and is currently retesting the levels. As you can see, so far a successful retest. And the biggest question now is, do we continue down for a correction or do we have a successful retest and continue with this part of the run? So we've already hit our confirmed breakout target around $44,000, $44,600. And the next target that we would have, which is the 1 spot 618 extension, is all the way up to around $48,000. And I've repeatedly said on this channel, I don't believe Bitcoin will get above $48,000 to $50,000. I believe it would come in somewhere between $45,000 and $50,000 to the end of the year. And then Bitcoin right now is currently in a massive range from $30,000 to $48,000. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, that doesn't help me at all. That's a huge range, and that doesn't let me know what I should be doing right now. So I want to get into the trading mentality versus the investing mentality. We as human beings have a very, very hard time conceptualizing and visualizing when Bitcoin will hit even past 100,000. Now we have 100,000 in sight, but the $500,000 mark that Bloomberg just gave, or the $1 million mark, or Michael Saylor's infamous $10 million mark, that is very hard for us as humans to envision because it's just so far away. And there has to have a lot of dominoes fall into place in order for those targets to be hit. But just imagine when Bitcoin was only $100. Do you think people could envision Bitcoin at $100 hitting $65,000 not many years later? So just keep that in mind, that these kind of moves are really hard to think about and to kind of picture, but they will happen. I've never had more conviction about anything in my life, and I understand what has to happen in society for us to get there. And zooming back into this bull run, what is most inevitable for 2024, just like Raoul Pal says, and famed macroeconomic investor, as well as Bitcoin investor, and many other economists and people who study the economy and the charts and crypto and just the way things flow in the money and in society, the election year has typically always been bullish. Those in charge want to stay in charge. In fact, Trump and Biden are both battling it out now, saying that it's going to be the best economy ever if they're elected.
Because of the momentum of our victory, we will have a U.S. economy roaring back, and in 2025, we'll have one of the greatest economic years this nation has ever recorded. You know that.
So as you can see, they do not want to fumble this year, and inevitably, as Raoul Pal says, there will be more cowbell, meaning more stimulus, which is bullish for risk-on assets and the stock market, and most definitely for Bitcoin. So there's no question on anybody's mind that this is all going down. And in fact, the Bitcoin spot ETF is less than a month out now, and like I said, could happen at any moment. So there's a lot of bullish catalysts, and here's what I think could happen and what I'm preparing for. We just hit an 84 read on the weekly RSI, which is pretty hot. And the last time we've done this in all the previous cycles, we've cooled down and we've gone down to around the 50 level in the RSI to reset Bitcoin's momentum and to gear up for the next leg of our bull run. So where does that leave us right now? Does that mean we're going to have a massive crash immediately? I don't know, and in fact, it could not be said. I believe Bitcoin could have one more pump in it before a deeper correction. One thing I am speculating on is that within the next 100 days or 2 to 3 months, we will have this massive correction. And typically, Bitcoin has always come down to retest its base, to form a foundation upon previous resistance that now becomes the new structure for this second half of our bull run. And that structure is around $30,000 to $31,000. And in fact, it would be really healthy that Bitcoin would pull back into that. I know we're all excited, and you may think this has been an altcoin mini season, but this is nothing. We're just scratching the surface of what's going to happen with altcoins. So I'm very excited. I am allocating to altcoins. So in response to that, what will we do from here? Could we have one more leg up to around $50,000 and then correct from there? Absolutely. Like I say on every episode, a 20 to 30 to up to 50% correction could be incoming for Bitcoin, which means altcoins will get hit pretty hard as well. So what am I doing now? I am dollar cost averaging, guys. This does not have to be as complicated as it seems. Now, one strategy I am implementing is going a little bit heavier in my dollar cost averaging on the dips, on the corrections, and going a little bit lighter as Bitcoin is moving up. And I will have caps at the levels up to which I will buy certain altcoins. But I mean, even Cardano, that had its insane run all the way up to 60 something cents. Cardano, my target for Cardano this bull run is anywhere from $8 to $10. I believe it could hit up to $8 to $10. So, you know, you do the math. If it's 60 cents, you still have exponential gains, so it's not a reason to be waiting on the sidelines, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing after I've had many years of experience in this market, and I don't want to miss the exposure, and that's what I think a lot of you should be feeling or thinking, and how you should be strategizing, especially if you have no exposure yet. Because if you wake up and the Bitcoin ETF has been approved tomorrow and things take off, are you happy with your allocation? Or would you have liked to have more? Or have you not even started? These are the questions you have to consider. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I am dollar cost averaging all throughout this time, like we went over in a previous episode. By plan B, the best time to start to buy Bitcoin historically are 6 months before the halving, and the best time historically to sell it is 18 months after the halving. Of course, that could vary a little bit, but we're well into that phase. We've been in that phase. And for those of you who've been paying attention and dollar cost averaging since well before, amazing to you. And those of you who are just starting, now is the time. Now is the time to wake up. So in answer to this question, I believe Bitcoin could have one more run in its tank before a further correction, and that is what I'm preparing for. And I'm also preparing for the announcement of that ETF at any point in time, and I'm just continuing to do what I've done. And I'm saving cash on the sidelines for when we do come to retest that base, which we most definitely, or at least a high likelihood that we will do it. And so things are bullish. I couldn't be more bullish. I want to show you this clip now about Michael Saylor. For those of you who are trying to time the market, take profits quickly, get in, get out, why it historically has not been a good thing to do and why you could get really burned doing that. In fact, Michael Saylor says that none of the billionaires got to where they are by trying to time the market and being traders. They were investors.
For example, if you'd asked the same question to Jeff Bezos in 2003 and said, you just had an 80% loss in Amazon. Do you ever wish you sold Amazon in the year 2001?
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos could have sold Amazon in the year 2000 and avoided a 95% loss.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish he did?
That's true.
But you see how foolish that is? Like, for example, Mark Zuckerberg, could have also sold Facebook, just before or just after the IPO and avoided a 50% loss. And in fact, Jeff Bezos could have sold Amazon 5 different times and avoided an 80% loss. And if he'd sold at any one of those 5 times, he wouldn't be one of the richest people in the world. So I think that trying to time the market is a trader mentality. But if you look at all the richest people in the world, they're not traders. I mean, Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, right? I mean, Larry Page, name the person that traded their way to that situation. You can't really do it. Like, trying to time the market is ridiculous.
And in the next episode, I will be going over some of my altcoin gems as we gear up for our strategy to invest into and get prepared for altcoin season, as well as some of the more lower cap, higher risk coins that I have a little bit higher conviction in. I'm very bullish on Avalanche, Solana, Cardano, Theta, and the Theta ecosystem. I have a real gem pick for you on the Theta chain. Stay tuned for that. T-Fuel, which is also in the Theta ecosystem. And we've got so many more coins, just so many good, solid picks that are your foundational part of your portfolio. And then now I'm going to start transitioning. I'm going to trust you guys that you'll do your own research and that you'll take this as information to get into those lower to mid cap coins so that you can also prepare your portfolios accordingly. And it's going to be a wild ride, guys. I hope you can have the vision, you can zoom out, you can understand where we're headed and plan accordingly. And now I just wanted to do a special segment on Vacabee. I am actually traveling here in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen, with an NFT travel membership, digital membership platform where you pay your membership and you have access to wholesale prices, anywhere from 20 to 50 to 60% off what hotels and Booking.com advertise, in addition to points. And it allows people like me in Web3, we can travel all together. It is absolutely fantastic. I've gotten the savings of a lifetime here in Mexico. I've been here for 2 weeks now, working with the team, and I'm so excited to share more with you. The link is in the description if you want to check it out, but I will do a more dedicated video on this, as well as with some goodies for you guys, some extras for signing up in my community, because my goal is always to give you guys back the most value possible. With any partnership that I do, I want you guys to benefit the most. So I'm really excited to share what I've been working on, and I'll have more on that tomorrow. So stay tuned, and I'll see you tomorrow.